Live from the local station, this is Weather Authority Weekday.
Hi everyone, I'm Meteorologist Mark Collins on Weather Authority Weekday. We have made it to a Friday and the storm cycle, well, it's in full swing. We had a pretty good round of rain yesterday. That's coming back today. And the downside, well, there's an upside. The upside is that Aaron totally missed the United States because of the front that is stalled over us that's giving us all the rain. So that's the downside. At least we have our homes, right? We were never impacted by the storm other than rip currents, but we're in this wake of tropical moisture that is not going anywhere. And that means we're looking at a washout for high school football. Take a look at the forecast for tonight. 7 o'clock kickoff for many of the games. Does look like there'll be some delays because the line of rain that will be developing and pushing back towards the coast will coincide for that first quarter. So expect some showers and thunderstorms. Some of those folks over the inland areas may not see the rain at kickoff because that rain is going to start earlier in the afternoon. So let's show you the timing here. This is around 1:45. All is pretty quiet here over Northeast Florida. Showers will start to pop up though after 2, and by 4 to 5 o'clock, you can see how a lot of that rain covering up areas from Gainesville to Lake City and over towards McClenny. So for those of you in these inland areas, that rain starting earlier means that things are going to be pretty dry for that 7 to 8 o'clock window here tonight for those inland North Florida areas. Now, Georgia, you're really going to see that rain stick around through the evening. So taking you into the evening hours, you can see how that rain pushes back towards the coast, and that's kind of unfortunate for that football timing. But overnight, things will start to dry out a bit. And then as we head into Saturday, we're going to look for those afternoon showers and thunderstorms to, again, develop and track back towards the coast. There's a lot of moisture in the air. If you were, in fact, to take a 1-inch column of air from the ground all the way up to the top of the troposphere, you would actually squeeze out 2 inches of water. So we look at what's called precipitable water, and it's that metric that gives us an idea of when it rains, how much rain could come down. And easily you get a 3/4 of an inch of rain in just 20 to 30 minutes time on a day like this. And this is the setup for Saturday. You can see some heavy rain there targeting the afternoon hours. So when we back out the view, you can see this trough line. That's some moisture left behind as that cold front that steered Aaron off the northeast coastline, that has been left over. And we're looking at these rain totals that could add up to about 3/4 to easily an inch and 3/4 to even 2 inches there in Georgia. So depending on where you are, looks like you'll at least get an inch of rain here around Northeast Florida, maybe a little less as those showers skip past the I-75 corridor with less volume. Those areas closer to the Gulf will see more shower activity. Those areas closer to the Atlantic will see more in the way of thunderstorm activity, because since they'll be coming in during the heating of the afternoon, which will be in the low 90s. So yes, hot again here today, but it is summer, and we're going to keep those temperatures in the 70s through the weekend into next week. There is some long-range models that show more of a nor'easter developing, but that wouldn't be this weekend. It'd be more towards the end of next week. All right, so what happened to Aaron? Well, it certainly caused the problems in Cape Hatteras with the large waves pushing water up along the coastline, but those wave heights have dropped off as that storm accelerates and never ever hits land. So we were talking about this thing off of Africa, how it would thread the needle between Bermuda and Cape Hatteras. It certainly did. It was a well-behaved, well-tracked storm. And you can see that we're still dealing with rip currents from that storm. I'm going to show you 2 cameras first off at St. Augustine, where you can decide which spot has the better waves. There you see some waves peeling in along our beach, but they are smaller in St. Augustine compared to Jack's Beach. Oh, it looks like we zoomed out a bit, but we were zoomed in, and it's like about chest to head high waves there at the pier and an ebbing tide. So during the afternoon, we'll have a little bit more beach, wider beach as the tide drops out. And there was certainly no erosion as I have seen the past 2 days along the beaches. They fared pretty well. So what's up next in line? Not much. You see a lot of polygon activity here, but there are no concerns for anyone in the United States. The one that's more likely to develop is that red area that would follow in the same footsteps of Aaron, missing Bermuda. The second one in orange has a longer term potential for developing in the Caribbean Sea. But over the next 5 days, it's going to stay out there over the open Atlantic. That one, actually, I was looking at the satellite, does have some circulation in the clouds, and there was a what we call like a scatterometer, and it showed the winds at the surface, and there is cyclonic circulation there. Why is it in a tropical depression? Well, because all the thunderstorms are well dispersed away from it, and the winds are not high enough. So that is something that I think would develop a bit more into the Caribbean. Right now, the winds look way too hostile, but if those winds can relax later next week, that might be a named system. The one that could be Fernan is in the red. That would likely track towards the north, and that's what the Hurricane Center is expecting to develop late this weekend, possibly. There you see the spaghetti models, both those systems missing the United States. However, when anything gets in the Caribbean, there's that potential could lift up into the Gulf of Mexico. But now none of the models are showing that. It shows that system actually weakening in the Caribbean Sea. So I think tropics are pretty quiet, even as we head into the end of August, which is pretty good news. But that doesn't mean our own weather looks pretty quiet. In fact, it looks quite soggy with afternoon rounds of rain, really high rain chances here through the weekend, dropping off, though, as we head into early next week. And our heat should drop off towards late next week if we get those northeasterly winds picking up a bit more after Thursday. So that's your Weather Authority update here. We've got the weekend. My advice, get your activities done early in the day, just like what we're seeing this morning where it's sunny before that rain comes in during the afternoon. Have a good one.
See why every day more people are choosing News 4 Jax, Northeast Florida, and South Georgia's #1 source for local news.